Finance from ABSA. Overcoming all finance from ABSA. Going the extra mile to get you financed.
The struggle for supremacy in the desert continues.
But Roald, you cannot contest it. The Nissans just got stronger and stronger as the race unfolded.
That's right, Arnie. Glenn Hall and his team were, as always, exceptional in their preparation and meticulous in their approach. And Vos and Bijveld were picking up the fruits of all that labor.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. Another route, eh?
Yeah. There comes me.
But Grenier had not given up the ghost. Not quite yet. The quietly spoken Toyota driver was turning up the heat.
Woolridge and Schulthammer were desperate to taste victory here again. So far, no champagne corks had popped for the pair in 2008.
The dust was worse than ever and the setting sun wasn't helping either. But the Peter Maritzburg-based Ford outfit were desperately trying to catch up to Grenier and succeeding bit by bit, inch by inch.
Grobler was really letting the Nissan out, and he and Moore were on the warpath. As it was, he was setting the fastest split times, but try as he might, he was making no headway on his stablemate Vos.
In the lead in the specials, Varayawa and Rousseau had slightly more than a 2-minute gap, which grew a little when Harper and Chalupsky Ron slotted, but they could not relax for 1 second out there.
And Shamir certainly wasn't letting the grass grow under his wheels either. The Total Motorsport Porter was taking all the punishment and asking for more.
Taylor and Houghton too were on the pace, and the Formula V champion had a very solid showing on the way home. He just had to keep the car out of harm's way.
Harper and Chalupsky were back into second place in the specials, and his driver was overjoyed with his navigator's form. Andrew hadn't navigated in 5 years and just picked up where he left off.
But they had to watch every turn. Taylor was on top of them, and with the production cars faster than the specials, would be looking to pass very soon.
The 2006 Desert Champion tiptoed through the H2O, but was under pressure.
He certainly did not want to ride in Taylor and Houghton's dust all the way home.
But that's exactly what Taylor was thinking. Close the gap, pass, and get out of Harper's dust.
The drive of the afternoon award went to Collie and Quinton Silvott. The defending Desert Champions drove like men possessed and jumped from 5th place to 3rd in the first 100 Ks. A tremendous effort.
While Whitehouse and Carlson had left a fine memento for someone a little earlier when their roof was ripped off. They were in 4th place, 2 minutes and 40 seconds behind the Silvalds.
Matthews and Smith in turn were 6 minutes behind them, probably just too much to really make a big push.
Oh, having themselves quite a scary moment there.
Followed by yet another.
Never missed a beat, though.
Bet you their hearts skipped one or two, though.
That's for sure.
But Matthews and Smith were still piling on the pace and the pressure as best they knew. You never know what happens up front, and that's the way you have to try and race all the way home.
Marsh and Groenewald were looking for a finish. In the sugarcane of KwaZulu-Natal, they came to grief in the previous race and were desperate to finish and rack up some points.
With the locals shouting them home all the way, the Barkhuisens only had to make it to the finish line to be assured of taking 6th place in the SPs. That's up 8 places from where they started off after the prologue.
That's right, Arnie, a superb drive in very trying conditions.
In Class B, the Cape crew Bez Besaidnout and Johan de Bruin in their Edenko bat outlasted the rest and were on their way to a second win of the year.
With a rock-solid performance from Jaco Swanepoel and Keith Solomon in the IDM Cement entry in 7th in the SP class.
They were followed by Van Tonde and Guapo, who were less than 90 seconds back.
And also had a close call with Winnie the Pooh's best mate.
The Alberton siblings, the Zamattans, brought their Ryobi Nissan home in 9th place, easily winning Class D for the second consecutive year in the desert.
And in Class P, there was family joy for the Besaidenots, Johan and Etienne, who clinched the Class P win by almost 50 minutes. They drove cleverly, and it was a well-deserved victory.
Close to the finish line, there were many photo opportunities as the survivors went by.
Barbaspan teammates Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux took the victory, just 20 minutes ahead. After 5 second places here, it was finally a win for Jannie. And their Barbaspan teammates Jannie Visser and Joks Leroux took the victory, just 20 minutes ahead of them. After 5 second places here, it was finally a win for Jannie.
With second in Class D going to the tired-looking Raconics team of Kutsiela Beskagni and Johan Gerber in the hard body.
They were almost exactly 10 minutes ahead of these two men, Chris Duploy and Henk Janssen van Vuren.
In Class E, that race-long battle was finally decided, but Debold van Breda and Johan de Toy never gave up.
And that's ahead of the early leaders, Peckham and Santora in the Ford, who had set the pace for more than 900 Ks.
On the run into the line, Lodebrain and Rudy Brits were more than an hour behind in the Class B race, but did a great job of getting there in one piece.
Followed by the bright orange Derek du Toit James Hutton piloted bat in the 10th place in the special category and 3rd in Class B. While the two Dons, that's Thompson and Blakey, were the last finishers in 11th place. The severity of the race was borne out by the numbers. That's right, Arnie. 28 specials entered, only 11 got to the line.
While the production car attrition rate was almost as high.
Yeah, 32 starters, just 16 finishers, 50% to be exact.
Malcolm Koch and Johan de Klerk were on that coveted finish list, though.
And they were led home by Duncan Voss and Louis Weikelt, a 3rd victory in 4 races. And this Toyota Kalahari 1,000-kilometer desert race added another 25 points to an already impressive championship tally.
Victory by 3 minutes and 54 seconds for the Nissan men.
And no, they weren't presumptuous enough to claim the laurel wreath. The desert hung onto the grill this time.
Grenier flattered 60 Ks out and then lost rear brakes, so consolidated by just trudging to the finish line. A wise decision under the tough conditions.
Indeed it was. Cronje's exhausted smile told the complete story. 3 tough days in the saddle.
Shortham and Woolridge took third, but were ruining a broken back shock and no less than 2 flats on the way into the line outside Gaborone.
Force got a hero's welcome.
And well, he should have.
Yeah, he controlled things and raced well within his car's capability and his own until it really mattered.
Grobler was 18 minutes back. That half-an-hour battle with the accelerator mechanism spring cost him big time.
And for the 3rd time this season, Duncan got to send some bubbly flying into the crowd. Must have loved that.
And not much left of the Nissan's bonnet either. It's a sight we've got used to in off-road. Another dominating display from Nissan.
Speaking of domination, in the specials it was a dominating drive from Shamir Variawa. Now consider this, Arnie. He and Rousseau were 23rd overall after the prologue, but finished 5th overall. The Team Total Motorsport crew were overjoyed, and rightly so.
What a great drive by Variawa. The team very pleased indeed. A 2.5-minute win from the brand new dad and a hard-run affair. It was as Harper pushed for all he was worth, but just came up short and just.
Yeah, and for Variawa, this ended a 15-year drought. That's how long he's been trying to taste victory in the Kalahari Desert.
Yes, Sierra Desert race this year has really surpassed all the others. The Botswana government have been fantastic. They've really supported the event. The 4x4 Club of Southern Africa, well, what an event. It's been a race right till the very, very end. And, well, next year we're going to win it. Mark came 2nd this year. We got 2nd and 5th. Really happy with the result. And to see the production vehicles coming right up front. So 4 production vehicles before the first special and 5 then before the second special. So we're really happy with the event. We're happy with the turnout, the crowds. The Botswanan people have been fantastic. And for the South Africans that weren't here, you missed out on a great event.
Foss got into his stride only on the last day, but that's the one that really counted.
Yeah, we had a great day. You know, the first 2 days we battled a little bit. I battled a bit in the time trial. And yesterday I battled, but we kept our heads together. We knew we were slightly off the pace yesterday, but I knew overnight we could do some improvements to the car, and I was confident that we could do well today, and we improved the car, and we had a really good day today.
So for Cronje, 1 or 2 small things meant a lot in the final outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some small gremlins that creeped in right at the end, and unfortunately we had to consolidate, and we need the points. So second's better than nothing, and yeah, we brought it back. It's all in one piece, and off to the next event.
Very tough conditions, Mark?
Yeah, it was excruciating. I must tell you, the last 100 Ks, it's almost soul-destroying. You know, you're in between the trees. You don't have 1 second to just take a breather, and it's an extremely tough route. And I mean, the duration of it also, it's extremely long. So yeah, it takes its toll on you.
But it must be nice to have 2 Works Toyotas finish in the top 5, surely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We always strive to bring them in as high up as possible, but we're making progress. You know, the vehicles are getting quicker, and yeah, I think the reliability is coming to us now as well, and we're having a good year.
For the veterans of the sport, this route was a bit like the old days. Neil Woolridge completely agreed.
It has been. Hannes and I were just standing here talking, chatting just now. It reminded us of the old days in the Nissan Safari and when we were in the Nissan Sani, and even back to my bike days. It was a real long, hard one, and I was glad to see the finish, I must say. Not as bad as yesterday, because yesterday we only finished at about 4 o'clock, but yeah, even today was a real tough route. It's been a long, hard Botswana race, but it's been good.
Any problems with the Ford throughout the 3 days, Neil?
You know, we've had 4 punches over the weekend, and you can't have 4 punches and win a race, unfortunately. So, but otherwise it was fine. We've got something wrong with the back suspension, and one of the dampers, I think, is blown. So we couldn't attack like we wanted to today, because we started just over a minute behind the leaders this morning, and we thought we were in with a chance. But before the DSP, there's something wrong with the back of the car. So we pretty much had to just get to the end, you know. But in saying that, it's been good. The rest of the car's fine. There's something small on the back suspension, but that's it.
So you'll be back in Botswana next year?
Yes, we'll be back next year, I'm sure.
The hosts' works cars have certainly upped their reliability, and Anthony Taylor slotted into the team very well. He was justifiably happy with his 5th place.
Yeah, I must say it's a fantastic result. You know, Castrol and Toyota prepared such a brilliant vehicle that, you know, nothing could really go wrong besides 1 or 2 punches, but no fault of theirs. It's all to my own doing, you know. Starting 6th this morning was a bit difficult in the dust, and yeah, I did have 1 or 2 little nudges with cars when I caught them, but nothing too serious. They immediately then let me go by. And then the argument that you see that the car had here was from we sort of overshot, and it was either a rock or a tree, and I know a rock you can't move and a tree can break, so I thought, well, I'll go for the tree option rather. So yeah, that's where the damage came from, was from a tree. It wasn't from bumping somebody.
The Zermattens were short on sleep, very, very short.
We're quite pleased, I must admit. We had a bit of a long night last night. It took us the whole night to change the front differential, which we lost yesterday. So we did a bit of yesterday in 2-wheel drive, and then today we had 4-wheel drive. Well, everything was working, it was great. I'm a bit disappointed. We reversed over our own mud flap and tore the mud guard off, so that, you know, we tried to keep the thing in good condition for a change, and that didn't happen either. Now we're quite happy. That helps a little bit with the points, because we had a good entry in Class D. I'm just waiting for Kutsia and Johan Faber to come in.
Team Barberspan's Visser and LaRue celebrated a big win in Class E, and their steed made them proud.
Ja, gelukkig die bakkie het hom baie goed gedra vandag. Ons het nooit uitgeklim vandag nie. Net daar by die service area het ons uitgeklim, verder nooit nie. Gister het ons 2 paar wiele gehad, maar vandag gelukkig die bakkie het hom baie goed gedra.
Julle punte totaal lyk sommer nou nog beter. Dit gee julle 'n goeie voorsprong, nie waar nie?
Ja, ons was 10 punte voor dek gewees. Nou weet ek nie presies hoeveel is ons nou nie. Seker nou is ons dalk so 14 of 15 voor. Dit help nogal baie.
Now, come the end of the championship, every single point is crucial. Vos and Weichelt celebrate their names at the top after 15 hours of hard slog. But Toyota was celebrating no less than 5 of their badges in the top 10.
So a great performance by the hosts, and at the halfway mark of the ABSA Off-Road Championship log, Vos with a 16-point lead, but the Ford Dio will also be keeping one eye on Cronje and Perkin, who are just 9 points further back.
Yep, it's all very close, Arnie. And the manufacturer's points race is also shaping up to be a humdinger. Just 14 points in it.
It's all to play for in the last 4 races of 2008.
An emotional win for Shamir Variawa. The Total Motorsport man took a long-awaited victory. Just shows what fatherhood can do for a man. But he was never certain.
It's an unbelievable feeling. We've been trying. Look, I've been racing for 15 years, and I've been trying for 15 years to win this race. And today it happened. I guess the new arrival in the family, the new baby on Thursday made all the luck, gave us the luck. We got in front 5Ks from the start this morning, and we've remained there ever since. No problems with the car, just kept a good pace, and monitoring where the guys were behind us. And I tell you, this last 100 Ks has been but nerve-wracking.
So were you looking over your shoulder half the time, Shamir?
I think my navigator's a bit tired of me. Every 5 minutes I kept on asking, see who's behind, see who's behind. But the guys done a wonderful job on the car. The mechanics worked the whole night, sorted the car out. And thanks to my sponsors and the whole team.
Matthews and Carlson had a fine drive on the final day and took 3rd place for the day and 5th overall.
Yeah, we're happy with the 3rd. We managed to catch Nick. Nick got a little bit lost. We came through, we got into 2nd place just before the DSP, and then about the 25 k's after the DSP we got a slow right front puncture. We tried to drive it through for a while, and then we saw Nick catching us. We thought, no, we're losing time. So we pulled over, changed it, and we lost about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we just had to bring it home. There was no hope in hell of chasing these guys down.
Harper and Chalupsky's wrong slot just before the designated service point was critical, while the Sulvalds overcame severe heating, but were pleased with their new bat's performance under the cosh.
Mears' big win on the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race leaps him up the order from 6th to 3rd. But that 3rd place from Cully and Quinton Silbolt meant that they secured their place at the top yet again. Harper and Chalupsky need a big push in the second half of the season.
The circus heads for the 5th race of the ABSA Off-Road Series at Sun City at the end of July.
Until then, you keep it on the road,
and we'll keep it off-road.
That was the ultimate test, the ABSA Off-Road Challenge.